I hope that this will be an unforgettable conference that we take the best from. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Logan Watt, the Executive Secretary, ATAF, and thank you for giving us a rundown of the theme of this 7th General Assembly. One of the things that you mentioned that is of critical mention is the use of technology in tax administration. It is a game changer. It has transformed revenue generation, and we must see an adoption of technology in the continent. I should also mention, with a little bit of a brag, that Nigeria is one of the leading tax authorities that is blazing the trail in employing technology in tax administration. Please, it's a good time to clap. We've seen increased registration of taxpayers, astronomical levels of tax compliance, and ultimately improved revenue generation. Please, a round of applause for Nigeria. And a round of applause for every African country on the continent. It is my pleasure to invite to this stage for his opening remarks the chairman of the African Tax Administrators Forum, Council and Commissioner General of Office Togolais de Recettes. Please give a round of applause for Dr. Philippe Chodi, the chairman, ATAF. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, may we clap, please? Keep clapping till he gets here. Thank you.
Merci. Thank you so much. Mr. Fowler said that the head of tax administration in French countries are called the Director General. There is an exception. In Togo, we are Commissaire General, not Director General. Maybe because Togo is both in Francophone countries and also since this year, we are also part of a Commonwealth. Thank you. Merci à tout le monde. Monsieur le représentant du gouverneur de l'État de Lagos, Monsieur le représentant du ministère fédéral du budget et de la planification, Monsieur le vice-président du conseil de l'ATAF, cher ami Edouard, qui serait certainement en ligne avec nous, Mesdames, Messieurs les membres du conseil de l'ATAF, Monsieur le président exécutif, Monsieur le président exécutif du service fédéral des recettes intérieures du Nigeria, mon ami Mami, Monsieur le secrétaire exécutif de l'ATAF, Monsieur Woff, très influent dans l'administration fiscale en Afrique et dans le monde, Mesdames, Messieurs les directeurs généraux, commissaires généraux, aides et chefs des délégations des différents pays ici présents, Monsieur le président du conseil de WATAF, Monsieur le secrétaire exécutif de WATAF, Monsieur le secrétaire exécutif adjoint de l'ATAF, Madame la secrétaire générale de TREDAF, Mesdames, Messieurs les représentants des partenaires et bailleurs de l'ATAF, Mesdames, Messieurs les membres du secrétariat de l'ATAF, distingués invités, chers amis de la presse, Mesdames et Messieurs. J'ai le plaisir de vous souhaiter la très cordiale et chaleureuse bienvenue à cette 7e Assemblée générale de l'ATAF qui se tient en mode hybride. Le 4 novembre 2022, dans 2 ans, cela fera exactement 2 ans que vous avez placé votre confiance en nous, membres du Conseil de l'ATAF, pour servir de boussole stratégique et veiller aux intérêts de notre organisation commune. Ce mandat était une première pour l'ATAF pour diverses raisons. Premièrement, c'était la première fois dans l'histoire de notre organisation qu'un pays francophone accédait à la présidence de notre organisation, ce qui témoigne de l'esprit panafricaniste qui nous anime tous et notre volonté ferme de rallier toute l'Afrique, sans exception, à la cause de la mobilisation des recettes domestiques. C'est aussi une première fois du point de vue du contexte économique et sanitaire dans lequel se déroulait notre 6e Assemblée générale. Vous vous en souviendrez que nous étions en pleine pandémie de Covid-19 avec tous les effets qu'elle a engendrés, avec les conséquences sur les finances publiques. Là encore, nous avons fait preuve d'innovation et de résilience afin de mener à bien notre mission de mobilisation de recettes domestiques. Cette année-là, nous avons d'ailleurs dû pour la première fois tenir notre Assemblée générale et réaliser l'ensemble des activités du programme de l'ATAF en mode virtuel. Ce fut également une première. J'en profite d'ailleurs pour féliciter très chaleureusement le secrétaire exécutif, M. Wolf, et toute son équipe pour l'agilité dont ils ont fait preuve en s'adaptant rapidement aux nouvelles donnes imposées par Covid-19 afin de continuer à répondre à nos besoins, aux besoins des membres. Enfin, en nous inspirant des leçons tirées de la première décennie de l'ATAF et en tenant compte des changements majeurs qui ont eu lieu sur la scène fiscale nationale, régionale, continentale et internationale, nous avons finalisé et lancé un ambitieux plan stratégique qui promet non seulement de continuer à répondre efficacement aux besoins des membres, mais aussi à porter à notre organisation vers les nouvelles hauteurs au cours de la prochaine décennie. Mesdames, Messieurs, je suis particulièrement heureux de constater le regain d'intérêt envers notre organisation, notamment ceux dont les membres qui étaient devenus quelque peu dormants au cours des décennies et au cours des années dernières. De même, c'est pour moi un réel plaisir d'accueillir de nouveaux membres parmi nous, notamment le Soudan, que je demande d'acclamer chaleureusement. À cet effet, je voudrais le souhaiter la très cordiale bienvenue parmi nous, parmi la famille ATAF. Il est clair que le train est en marche vers un ATAF de 24 membres d'ici 2025. Que tous les membres du continent soient membres de l'ATAF d'ici 2025. Ce train a besoin de nous tous pour arriver à bonne destination. L'ATAF est notre organisation C'est la fleur de notre graine qu'on a semée ensemble. Elle a été fondée pour répondre à nos besoins et priorités. C'est donc à chacun d'entre nous que revient la responsabilité d'en faire un modèle de réussite au bénéfice de nous tous. Les défis à venir sont énormes, aussi bien au niveau international qu'au niveau de nos juridictions fiscales respectives. Mais ensemble, nous avons le potentiel de les surmonter en garantissant la viabilité financière de nos organisations, de notre organisation à travers nos cotisations de membres et en nous investissant dans la mise en œuvre des programmes visant à optimiser nos systèmes fiscaux et en apportant à notre secrétariat exécutif le soutien dont il a besoin pour mieux nous servir. Mesdames et messieurs, chers collègues, au cours de cette Assemblée générale, il nous sera donné, entre autres, l'opportunité de nous doter d'instruments de gouvernance dotés de nos ambitions. Nous aurons aussi l'occasion de faire l'état des lieux des dernières années et voir les domaines à optimiser pour un impact encore plus grand de l'ATAF auprès de ses membres. Pour les grandes décisions à prendre, que nous aurons à prendre au cours de cette Assemblée générale, je vous invite à privilégier l'intérêt collectif de notre organisation et à s'investir pleinement dans les débats qui auront lieu. Je ne saurais conclure mes propos sans exprimer ma sincère gratitude et remerciement à notre cher ami Mami, le président exécutif du service fédéral des recettes du Nigeria, et à toute l'équipe pour s'être proposé de nous servir d'hôtes cette année et surtout pour la remarquable hospitalité à laquelle nous avons eu droit depuis notre arrivée à Lagos. Chers collègues, mesdames et messieurs, sur ce, je ne reste qu'à souhaiter d'excellentes délibérations à nos assises. Que Dieu bénisse nos travaux. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup. Please, let's put our hands for the chairman ATAF, Dr. Philippe Chodi. Please, a round of applause for him. I will do my best to summarize in English his speech that was delivered in Francais. One of the highlights he made, Mr. Chairman made, was the impact of COVID on tax administration and the concomitant challenges that the various tax administrators across the African continent have had to grapple with ever since then. Mr. Chairman also highlighted the efforts by the African Tax Administration Forum to galvanize members to successfully meet these challenges and deal with them appropriately. Mr. Chairman also highlighted the ambitious strategic plan for an effective response to these issues. And most importantly, I would say one of the key highlights of Mr. Chairman's speech is the welcome to our brothers from South Sudan. Please, a round of applause for them. And in the same vein, that he looks forward to having all African countries as members of ATAF by 2025. I believe we all share that same aspiration.
Thank you. It is time for the keynote address by the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, who is ably represented by the Statistician General, Mr. Semiu Adeniro. A warm applause, please, as he comes on board.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented here today by the Chairman, Board of Internal Revenue, Lagos State, the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service of Nigeria, the Chairman ATAF, and the Executive Secretary of ATAF, all commissioners general here present, all presidos here present, invited guests, other participants that are here and those that joined online, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me first apologize on behalf of my boss, the Honorable Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Ikanade Agba, who has planned to be here physically, but due to official engagement, has to travel out of the country, and he has asked me to read his speech. It is my pleasure to welcome all delegates from Africa and across the world to the 7th General Assembly of the African Tax Administration Forum, ATAF. Nigeria is truly privileged to host the Assembly of Head of Tax Administration and Senior Tax Officials from all over 40 countries across African continent. Nigeria has over the years gained the reputation of one of the key strategic partners of African Tax Administration Forum, particularly as it collaborates with other African tax authorities through the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It is a reputation that we intend to sustain and build on as we all work towards improved revenue profile for African countries, with a view to accelerating the development of our dear continent. The theme of this year's event, Rethinking Revenue Strategies, the human face of taxation, is a most timely topic for African tax administrations in view of the reality of low tax to GDP ratio in the region, struggling against a growing urgent need for revenue to finance the much-needed development programs and projects embarked upon by government on the continent of Africa. Statistics show that sub-Saharan African countries still mobilizes less than 17% of their GDP in tax revenues. This is below the recommended minimum level of 20% by the UN as necessary to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. According to the World Bank, tax revenues above 15% of the country's gross domestic product is a key ingredient for economic growth and ultimately reduction of poverty. Clearly, there is a gap between available tax resources and the needs they speak to. In order to foster sustainable economic growth and development, therefore, it is imperative to re-strategize and rethink the concept and dynamics of tax and taxation. we must ask the relevant questions that hold the potential to unlocking for us a new focus and a new trust as we fashion a pragmatic way forward. All too often, the ideas that arise to the top in the discussion of how to improve the tax revenue profile of our countries are really not much more than either the introduction of new taxes or raising of tax rates. I agree with the theme of this event that human face of taxation must be a more sustainable and effective way of achieving the desired result in the optimization of revenue and fostering voluntary compliance. To be clear, we are of course mindful of the reality that the introduction of new taxes is sometimes not just inevitable, but even needed as we take on the emergence of new business models. This is illustrated, for example, by the global ongoing work on the taxation of the digitalized and globalized economy, which are ordinarily not subject to the rules, guidelines of the taxation of brick and mortar businesses. However, the continued resort to increase in taxes on tax rates as a revenue generation strategy reveals a stagnation of thought towards the human face of taxation, and will ultimately prove to be a disincentive. Jurisdictions that are able to generate substantial revenue through taxation and record remarkable voluntary tax compliance achieve such successes on the back of the institutionalization of key reforms that prioritize voluntary compliance, such as trust, transparency, fairness, accountability, and ease of tax compliance, including ease of access to the structure for payment of taxes and reduction of complexity of tax law. It is a well-trodden path that leads to functional, productive tax system with high yield and output. For us here in Nigeria, certain strategies are proving to be invaluable. The first is the reorientation of how to get tax officials to see taxpayers as customers, and therefore focus on finding ways to anticipate their needs and provide good customer service to them in doing their businesses. We emphasize cooperation and open dialogue between taxpayers and tax administrators, thereby creating a transparent platform for interaction which serves to build trust for the tax authorities by taxpayers. When tax collection and administration is not a mysterious and opaque exercise, the taxpayer is more forthcoming, and that allows the tax administration to maximize its opportunities. Crucial to the issue of transparency and trust is the need for the state to hold up its side of the social contract by delivering services, infrastructure, and amenities in return for taxes that it collects. This will serve to boost public perception and confidence even further. The third and perhaps most critical strategy which has stood us in good stead has been the effective deployment of technology to ease compliance. The automation of tax processes has been done in such a way that the taxpayer services can be accessed and utilized with ease, and this has greatly encouraged and aided our taxpayers to meet their tax liabilities. In June 2021, the Federal Inland Revenue Service launched the Tax Pro Max solution, which is a homegrown tax administration software that allows for seamless registration, filing, payment of taxes, and automatic crediting of withholding tax, as well as other credits of the taxpayer's accounts, among other features of that software. FIRS has also deployed several other services, especially e-services, including self-service booths at all tax offices, where taxpayers can be assisted by tax officials to do their businesses with minimal complications. Additionally, in a bid to see the human face of taxation, communication and feedback from taxpayers is of paramount importance. It serves to provide insight on the efficiency of the tax system and also guide the tax administration on how it can best assist the taxpayer, the customer, who, as we always say, is the king. Here in Nigeria, the Federal Inland Revenue Services has established a contact center where callers can get their tax-related challenges resolved, whereby, if it is possible or referred for quick resolution, this has always been done. For maximum spread, the responses are made available in various Nigerian languages, which helps to bring even more people into the tax system as a stakeholders. African Tax Authority must signal that we are willing and eager to engage as partners with taxpayers and receive feedback, which ensures that we do not exist in a secluded authoritarian echo chamber. I want to end this address by saying that the tax system does not exist in isolation. We are witnesses to the vagaries of the global economy as it responds to different stimuli, with far-reaching impact and implication of life and living, whether that is the lingering effect of COVID-19 on the economy and tax and travel, or the impact of the Russian-Ukraine war on agriculture, among others. While all of that is happening, the need for improved revenue is only intensified, and we must rise to the challenge of responding to that need by charting an onward course that is not counterproductive. It is my hope that we can kickstart and further the course of this important discourse at this very important event. I wish you all a fruitful deliberations, and I thank all of you for your kind attention. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless the African continent. God bless you. Please remember to tell your friends and neighbors that it pays to pay their taxes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the representative of the Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Abba, represented by the Nigeria Statistician General, Mr. Semiu Adeniro. A keynote address, a keynote speech is expected to raise important issues. It's expected to discuss policies. It's expected to discuss principles, the theme, and share experiences. And I think the Honorable Minister has done justice to this keynote address. Please, a round of applause for him once more. Some of the key highlights of the Honorable Minister's address include the imperative to strategize and rethink the strategies we want to adopt in taxation, which of course is why we are here. And he has more or less provided food for thought for the tax authorities here present by laying some principles that should underpin the discussions that we would have here, including trust, transparency, fairness, accountability, and ease of tax compliance. He has also emphasized the relevance and importance of tax officials to see the taxpayers as customers. I believe that about 2 weeks ago, the world celebrated the Global Customer Service Week, and this was one of the fundamental issues that was put forward by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. How can the taxpayer be seen and treated as a customer who is owed a service? Once more, thank you to the Honorable Minister for your words of guidance and, of course, the lessons you have left for us here. Please, a round of applause for him. We will now move to, I think, one of the key elements of today's opening ceremony, which is the official opening address to be delivered by none other than the one who has welcomed us to his house. In Lagos, it is said, "Eko ni baje o," and it will translate to mean Lagos will not spoil. The Lagos spirit is one, like my chairman, Executive Chairman FIRS, has stated in his welcome message, is one of a can-do spirit. There's one that says we go out every day to the hustle and bustle to make things work. It underpins the theme of the General Assembly. And I think that there is no better person to deliver the opening address, our special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is here represented by the Executive Chairman of the Lagos Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Ayodele Subari. Please, a round of applause for our special guest of honor. And please, let's keep clapping till he gets to the stage. Let's keep clapping.
It's a good feeling to be the Executive Governor of Lagos State. I'll relish every moment of this. So, the Honorable Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, ably represented by the Statistician General of the Federation, Mr. Semiu Adeniran, the Chairman, ATAF, Dr. Philip Chodi, the Deputy Executive Secretary, ATAF, Mary Bain, Commissioners Generals, Director Generals, Head of Delegations, and their delegates from the tax authorities. I'm saving the best for the last. The host of the event, Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, also the President of the Commonwealth Association of Tax Administrators, Mr. Muhammad Nami, the members of the Board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the members of the Joint Tax Board, commissioners of the Tax Appeal Tribunal, members of the management team of FIRS, staff and members of the local organizing committee of the 7th General Assembly, gentlemen of the press, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I wear 3 hats today. One as the Executive Chairman, Lagos Internal Revenue Service, the foremost sub-national revenue generating agency in Nigeria, as a member of the Joint Tax Board, which is the umbrella body of all revenue-generating agencies in Nigeria, and as representative of the Executive Governor of Lagos, indefatigable Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu. He extends his apologies and regrets for not being able to make this event because he's away on a national assignment. So please accept his apology. I'll now go to the opening address by the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, at the 7th General Assembly of the African Tax Administration Forum, ATAF. I'm delighted to welcome members of the 7th General Assembly of the African Tax Administration Forum to Lagos State, the city of aquatic splendor, and indeed the center of excellence. I understand that we have delegates from all over the continent converged here in Lagos State for what I know is a highlight of every tax administrator's year. I would like to extend a very warm and heartfelt welcome to every single one of you here today, and to let you know that indeed Africa is a new and emerging frontier market for every global investor desirous of charting new territories. Africa is a continent of the new millennium, and Lagos State is fast gaining a reputation as one of the locations of choice for conferences and events, not only in Nigeria, but on the continent as a whole. It is not for nothing that we have acquired the fun slogan, "Eko for show." Eko is the indigenous name for Lagos. Thus far, we have recorded good success with all the events held here in our state, and I'm confident that this one will not be any different. I therefore welcome all delegates from sister African countries and all other stakeholders here present in different capacities to the 7th General Assembly of the African Administration Forum. As governor of the state with one of the most populous cities in Africa, I am excited to have a conference of this nature hosted in the state. Administering a mega city with an eye on further development is a daunting task, but we must say with all modesty that we have had a decent crack at it and are doing our very best. In view of our developmental projects and plans, we are constantly on the lookout for ways of increasing our internally generated revenue without burdening the existing tax base. Over the past few years, and despite the documented global challenges, we have made notable developmental strides, relying mostly on internally generated revenue as the primary source of funding. We have, amongst others, embarked on major transformational infrastructure projects, cutting across transport, health, education, agriculture, technology, and so on. These major infrastructural interventions are designed to improve the quality of life of our citizens and re-engineer the economic growth and development trajectory for improved productivity of our citizenry, which invariably improves our tax-generating abilities. One other critical area of development has been in environmental protection, waste management, and disposal, which we have prioritized and hope to continue to build on until we are actively turning waste into wealth. There is more, but suffice to say that the Center of Excellence is experiencing transformational infrastructural projects that will improve the quality of life. There is no development without funding, and as I earlier alluded, the past few years have not been the easiest of time for government to generate tax and other forms of revenue as businesses struggle with the difficult circumstances occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects on the post-COVID economy. We, like every other responsible government, have applied ourselves to finding a middle ground between our need for golden eggs and nurturing the proverbial goose that lays them. The theme of this year's General Assembly, Rethinking Revenue Strategies, the human face of taxation, is therefore an excellent one as it speaks to this issue frontally. We are hopeful that the takeaway from your deliberations here will prove invaluable towards bridging the revenue gap in a world saddled with both an unquenchable thirst and diminishing resources. Going by the caliber of facilitators and resource persons scheduled for this event, and the seasoned tax administrators from over 40 African countries participating in the deliberations, I believe that there will be much to mull over, and that policy development and tax administration in our respective countries will be the better for it. As we listen to the counsel of the experts and share experiences on good practices, let me conclude by highlighting that as much as we're here for serious work, I believe that at least on this one occasion, you can mix business with pleasure. After the brainstorming sessions and technical sessions, please remove the ties and business suits and take a break. Part of your remit here is to rest, relax, and enjoy the beautiful environment and the sights and sounds of Lagos. I invite you to pay a visit to the Eko Atlantic City and other beautiful places in Lagos. You will find same enjoyable, coupled with the unparalleled warmth of the people of Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and privilege to finally declare open the 7th General Assembly of the African Tax Administration Forum. I wish you fruitful deliberations. Once again, this is Lagos, and God bless you all.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
Taking you through as it happened.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
With investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment and business news so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
TVC News Adedoja Salamadini emerged winner of Lagos reporting category at the 30th Diamond Award for Media Excellence. As the isolation centers filled up and many Nigerians living in denial, Adedoja dared the odds to bring the dreaded COVID-19 reality to our living rooms. This is the story that resulted in the laurel at the Diamond Award for Media Excellence, Lagos reporting category for Adedoja Salamadini.